Lads, welcome back to a brand new video on the channel. Now, I say brand new. It's definitely not brand new. I'm going to be reacting to a video that I did over a year ago where I compared the Sheffield United promotion side from 2006 to the team from 2019. And even though Neil Warnock and Chris Wilder play two completely different formations, I tried to pick similar players who do similar roles in the team to try and compare them a little bit so I can have sort of a combined 11 at the end of the video. But I'm not just going to be doing that. I'm going to be doing something quite similar where I'm going to be looking at both teams, how they've both coped with the first year in the Premier League. But it's a chance to see where I went wrong, what positions, who's done better. Yeah, let's just have a look. So let's get the trusty earphones on and let's get started in the video. So here I am in 2019 with last season's shirt on in my living room with the remote controls just sat there. That's so annoying. How annoying. Just clear the deck. Just clear everything away. Anyway, let's crack on because this could be a long video if not. Lads, Ingood Nick and I thought I'd switch up the set a little bit today. Keep you on your toes a little bit. Today you are in my living room. And today we're going to be comparing the two teams. The 2006 promotion winning Sheffield United team with the 2019 promotion winning Sheffield United team. We had two amazing promotion winning sides. But who will make my final 16? As there's 32 players to go through, 16 on each side, I'm just going to be doing quick fire answers. So don't take it too personal, I've got to choose between the two. Quick fire answers, 13 minutes. Actually, that's not too bad. I was expecting this to be like a 25-minute video because when I say quick fire, you guys know me, I just waffle on and on and on. So I'm surprised this is only 13 minutes long. If you don't agree, let me know in the comments who you think I got wrong. So let's crack on. So 2006 Paddy Kenny versus 2019 Dean Henderson. Now, even though it pains me to say, I think for this one it's got to be the Judas that is Paddy Kenny. And the only reason for this is I probably trust him a little bit more between the sticks than Dino. Towards the end of the season, Dean Henderson was absolutely incredible. But early on, he had a few jitters. And obviously Paddy had played for us for a few seasons before that. And Paddy was quality. But I do have to say that I do think that Dean Henderson's got more potential to grow and become a great goalkeeper. I think it's safe to say he'll surpass Paddy Kenny in what Paddy's achieved. Which, it's not really that much. Okay, well, Paddy Kenny. I still think I were right. Paddy Kenny for me was a bit more stable than Dean Henderson. I don't think he made as many mistakes as Dean Henderson when we got promoted. So I've just had a little Google on how many each goalkeeper let in the Premier League season. And Sheffield United conceded 39 goals, which of 6 of those Dean Henderson didn't let in because obviously Simon Moore were in the net for both Man United games. So Dino let in 33. Paddy let in 55. Now, I'm not saying that's all down to Paddy Kenny and Dean Henderson. Like our defence has been way better than what it was like in 2007. But for me, Dean Henderson he's surpassed Paddy Kenny already. Like I said in the video, I'm so smart. But for this one, I am going to go for Paddy. Then we've got 2006 Rob Kozlov versus 2019
I hope I've picked George
Baldock. I think it's a bit of a difficult one, this one, because neither of them are standout players. I am going to give it to George Baldock only because
that's
he's a
good.
much better footballer than Cozzy was. Like, yeah. I loved Cozzy, loved him to bits, loved Georgie Baldock to bits. However, I do think George Baldock has the upper hand because he's a better footballer. Cozzy had the throw-in, Cozzy had that never say die attitude.
Yeah.
George Baldock, but yeah, it's got to be George.
Jeez, man. I really didn't rate George Baldock in Championship season, obviously. I thought he got better towards the end of the season, but jeez, man, I thought I'd have been like, yeah, definitely George Baldock over Cozzy. But yeah, he's surpassed, like I've just said about Dean Henderson, he's surpassed probably every right back we've ever had this season.
2006 Chris Shaw versus 2019 Jack O'Connell. Bit of a daft question, this. The only reason why I think it's a daft question is because, like, don't get me wrong, Craig Short, very solid professional, but Jack O'Connell is going places. If he doesn't go places with us, he will go places with somebody else. And in my opinion, in the next 2 to 3 years, I really do think he could be in the England squad. 2006 Chris Moore.
That's a good shout, to be fair. He probably does deserve to be in the England squad, but It's taken a while for him to get that call up. I think he's been great this season, but I do think Jack O'Connell, I did think he was going to be better. I really did. I thought he was going to be a standout performer for us. And looking on the screen right now, John Egan has been that standout performer for us this season, I do think. And to be fair, Jack O'Connell and Bash, neither of them have scored this season, which I'm really surprised at. And obviously, Egan got those two within a week. Oh, obviously, it was Jack O'Connell, wasn't it? It's going to be Jack O'Connell over Craig Shaw. But here we go. This is Chris Morgan against John Egan. I don't want to look.
Morgan versus 2019 John Egan. Now, this is a very, very tough call. And I have got hammered before in the past for, let's say, putting John Egan in the good category or whatever it was. However, I'm going to go against John Egan again. I've got to say Chris Morgan. Chris Morgan had more experience. He led the team very, very well. Now, I'm not saying Egan can't go further than Chris Morgan, which I think he probably will, because Morgan had one Premier League season with us and maybe one with Barnsley, I want to say, but I do think Egan will play lots more Premiership football than Chris Morgan. But for this team, I would have to go with Chris Morgan, mostly for his experience and leadership, and the fact that he's just hard as nails, isn't he?
Yeah, again, I probably agree with myself. When we went up, Chris Morgan was a massive part of that squad and a leader. John Egan was brilliant last season, but this season, John Egan's been a standout performer. Now, I think all three centre-backs have been excellent this season, but John Egan, for me, has been that rock. Like, we used to call Chris Morgan a rock. We used to call Rob the Rock Page a rock. But John Egan has just blown him away, completely blown him away. John Egan looks like he should be in the Premier League, playing Premier League football week in, week out. Whereas Chrissy Morgan kind of got found out a little bit. And I do still feel that Chris Morgan was a top-end Championship centre-back, but he just wasn't cut out for the Premier League, was he? I think he got caught out way too much, and John Egan hasn't really, has he? So again, it's got to be John Egan. So that's 4 for 4 up to now. Henderson, Baldock, Jack O'Connell and Egan. It's probably going to be 16 for 16, but we'll see.
2006 David Unsworth versus 2019 Ender Stevens. Another difficult one here. I do think that David Unsworth really, really helped us get promotion that season because he was a big, strong left-back who got forward sometimes, put in some good crosses, scored some goals, went up for corners, again, scored goals. There's a lot of full-backs that aren't good in the air, and obviously David Unsworth was just brilliant. Big, strong. The only problem is he sometimes came up against really quick players, and that's where he got undone a little bit. However, saying all that, I am going to go with Ender Stevens. The reason for this is because Stevens was...
I thought I went David Unsworth, if I'm being completely honest. I thought David Unsworth was excellent in the Championship season. I think David Unsworth probably had an all-round better Championship season than Ender Stevens. But again, in the Premier League, he's blown everyone away. And to be honest, David Unsworth barely played any football for us in the Premier League, and then obviously sent us down. So anyway, we'll move on from David Unsworth. Can't be bothered.
Next, we've got 2006 Nick Montgomery versus 2019 Ollie Norwood. Now, however much I loved seeing that boy, Nick Montgomery, put that red and white shirt on, I've got to go with Ollie.
Yeah, I'd go with Ollie Norwood here. But I thought Monte was one of our best players in the Premier League, to be honest. It might show how bad we were, but Monte, you got a 7 out of 10 in every single game. He might have got done a few times with skill in that midfield, but he put so much effort in. He won so many tackles. He was really, really good in that Premier League season. But obviously, he's not got the feet that Ollie Norwood's got. He hasn't got that wand of a right foot. And obviously, Ollie Norwood's had a great season. I think some people have been a bit harsh on him towards the end of this season. He might have had a few not as good games, but overall, he's had a really good season, and he definitely was better than Monte. But again, I've got to say, Monte was excellent in the Premier League season.
2006 Phil Jagielka against 2019 John Fleck.
This is a difficult one, and I think I allude to it in the video. Phil Jagielka, I think he was playing centre mid for us. He wasn't a John Fleck. He wasn't on the level of John Fleck in midfield. He was in defence, but he wasn't in midfield. Tried to work out whether Jags played more games in midfield or defence for us in the Premier League season. I can't remember. Someone let me know in the comments. But yeah, it's still, it's a tough one actually, because Jags, you've got to say, is one of our best ever players. John Fleck's had kind of more say in the season than Jags did. And obviously the Jags handball against Wigan that sent us down, yeah, I can't really stand here and say Phil Jagielka when John Fleck sat in front of me. And I think I did say this in the video, but we'll see.
2006 Phil Jagielka against 2019 John Fleck. Now I know this is a really unfair comparison because Jags is pretty much a defender and Fleck is a midfielder. And Jags did play some of his games in defence, some in midfield, so it was difficult to find somebody else to put Jags up against. However, it's difficult to say really. I'm going to go for Jags because really at that point he was probably our best player and he was just excellent at everything what he did. Yeah, sorry Fleck, eh?
Yeah, I thought I'd said Fleck to be honest. Jags was one hell of a player. And he obviously did a lot for us in his career before he obviously went off to Everton. But has Fleck surpassed Jags? He might have done, you know. Fleck's been unbelievable this season, and we only had one season with Jags in the Premier League, and he did come up with some special performances. But John Fleck has just been probably our best player this season. So it's probably going to have to be Fleck.
Fleck is quality. Fleck is brilliant, and I think he'll be brilliant next season again, like he has been the last 3 seasons. But Jags is Jags. 2006 Michael Tong versus 2019 Mark Duffy.
Ooh.
Now, for sheer importance to the team, I'm going to go for Mark Duffy in this one. Everything goes through Duffy. Every single thing that we create pretty much goes through Mark Duffy.
I always say this. I always say everything goes through Mark Duffy. And it did. It really did. But this is the first one that I'm going to go 2007 because Mark Duffy hasn't played a minute this season, obviously.
This is 2019. Ooh. This is where it becomes.
I did the same thing.
Both players had an integral part to us getting promoted. Steve Cabba scored 10 goals, but Didsey scored 15. And I do think that Didsey adds more to the team rather than just goals.
I'm not even going to pause it. We all know it's Didsey, don't we?
Ish. He wasn't that sort of player though. And don't get me wrong, I love Steve Cabba. Cabba was a brilliant player. However, for this season in particular, I think David McGoldrick added more. 2006 Neil Shipley.
I've got to say, yeah, David McGoldrick has played the majority of the season. He's had a couple of bits in and out of the team through injury. But yeah, he's added more, way more, because I think we actually sent Steve Cabba out on loan to Watford in the Premier League season. So yeah, it's got to be Didsey, hasn't it, surely. Next up, we've got Adi Akinbaye and Scott Hogan. Again, pretty pointless. Adi Akinbaye wins it because he played some games for us in the Premier League, not many. Scott Hogan was on loan and we didn't sign him because I don't think he was that good, if I'm honest.
2006 Danny Webber versus 2019 Billy Sharp.
Ooh.
However much I love Danny Webber.
Let's just close this advert. I know what I go for. I'm pretty sure that I go for Billy Sharp because of how many goals he scored. But in the Premier League season, this is close actually. This is actually really close because I don't remember how many Webber scored, and I know he scored a few. Danny Webber, there he is. How many did he score for us in that season? 3 goals for us in 21 games. And Billy Sharp, 3 goals in 25. It couldn't be any closer, really, could it? I think, obviously, Danny Webber missed that big chance against Wigan. Billy Sharp's missed chances as well. He missed quite a few against Southampton. Obviously, Billy Sharp was way better getting us promoted last season. Well, the season before last. But this season, who's added more? Who added more? Danny Webber scored that goal against Newcastle away to beat Newcastle. I think he scored one against Watford as well, away. Obviously, Billy Sharp scored our first goal back, though, didn't he? And he scored that amazing header against Norwich. And he does offer more, I think. I do think Billy Sharp offers more up front. He does kind of get his body in the way. Yeah, I'm going to go Billy Sharp. I love a lot of these players, to be fair. I just keep saying it, don't I? But however much I love Danny Webber, he scored 10 goals that season. He scored the really important one against Cardiff that got us promoted, but there's no contest, is there really? 2006 Paul Eiffel versus 2019 Kieran Dowell. Eiffel and Dowell both.
The reason why I'm laughing is because I've just seen that Paul Eiffel played 3 games for us in the Premier League, and obviously Kieran Dowell hadn't played any because he was on loan, so that sorted that one out.
They're done. However, Paul Eiffel, I didn't even realise, scored 9 goals in that promotion-winning season. That's quality from an attacking midfielder / winger. And for that reason, it's got to be Paul Eiffel. 2006 Del Gieri versus 2019 Martin Craney.
Again,
I feel a little bit harsh.
It's going to be Del Gieri, innit, because he'll have played more games in the Premier League for us. But Martin Craney obviously didn't play for us in the Premier League. I still wouldn't have minded Martin Craney in the Premier League, if I'm honest, but anyway.
Because he was brilliant. He came in and did exactly what he needed to do. No more, no less. Well, actually, he did a lot more than what we expected him to do. Saying that Middlesbrough fans didn't like him, I just don't get it. They still don't like him. Don't get it. I still think we should have kept him on as well. However, I'm going to go for Del Gieri in this one. Just because he just gave everything. He just put in everything. He bled Sheffield United. Even though he came from Wednesday, he bled Sheffield United. And I'm going to go for Del Gieri. Again, probably...
Actually, Del Gieri's still at the club, isn't he? Teaching youngsters, so that's brilliant.
Bit of a harsh comparison, because we only had Martin Craney for kind of like half a season, if that. And we had Del Gieri for a lot longer, but I'm just going to go for Del anyway. 2006 Chris Lucchetti versus 2019 Chris Basham.
This is an easy one, surely. Surely.
Great defender. Really solid. Very, very solid. But he's not Chris Basham, is he?
Yeah, go on, Nick.
Not Chris Basham. I remember we played Swindon away and we drew... What did
Where am I going with this?
Like
yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, I remember.
And Chris Basham, you could see how much it hurt him. You could see how devastated he was. Nobody else really cared.
Yeah.
But Basham, you could tell
he was distraught.
How dedicated he was. You kind of want to put him on the same pedestal as Monte. So dedicated. And this season, as well as last season and the season before, he's just been brilliant.
Basham has been obviously excellent this season. He's a player of the year, players player, fans player. He's picked up every award he could have really gone in for. Obviously, he didn't score any goals, so he didn't pick that one up. But yeah, Chris Basham, miles better than Chris Lucchetti, 100%. Even though, no one thinks of him as this great footballer, but he seems to be getting better and better and better every year. I hope it happens next year as well.
What player? Last but not least, 2006 Neil Warnock
versus
2019 Chris
No,
Wilder.
is that even a point, is there?
Is this a difficult one? It's not for me, but I'm going to pretend
it's
like
not,
it's
Nick.
a difficult one. Neil Warnock did a brilliant job. Had quite a few seasons of 100.
He's still doing a brilliant job. He's still doing a brilliant job at Middlesbrough. He's had an excellent career, Neil Warnock. If anyone is going to badmouth him, just look at his CV. He's been a brilliant manager. Maybe not top-end manager. Maybe not a great Premier League manager. But he's a great manager nonetheless.
Underachieving. Saying that, he did well with what he had. And he got us promoted. We got relegated that very next season. However, Chris Wilder could do the exact same. However, they're both Sheffield lads. So I'm not going to be biased towards either of them. I just think Chris Wilder is a much better manager. Much better. And I think he will prove that next season. So I've got to say 2 very good promotion winnings.
Yes, Nick, you were right. You were 100% right. Chris Wilder did show it this season. I just called it, didn't I? I called it. Do you know what? I wish I'd have done a Premier League predictions video. I probably would have had us about 3 or 4 places above the relegation zone. So obviously I still wouldn't have said we're going to be finishing in the top 10. But I absolutely called it. I knew that we were going to stay up. I knew that Chris Wilder was going to have a great season. So there you have it, guys. I think the only ones that we actually picked that were from 2007 were the ones where the 2019 lads kind of have either barely got a game or they don't play for us anymore, like loan signings like Medina and Dowell and that. So really it just shows how good this team's been this season. I expected that one player might have been better from 2007 to 2020. And they weren't. I think Jags was probably the closest, and I've got to give it to John Fleck because of how good John Fleck's been this season. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Something a little bit different. Yeah, I'm going to try and do some more reacting videos if I can think of the ideas and stuff. I've got loads more coming up. So yeah, if you enjoyed it, smash a like on it. Comment down below what you thought and kind of who you would pick in those comparisons. And stay in good Nick.
Look at that ping from Norwood. Makes other teams look no good. Yeah. We've got a team full of leaders. Alan Hill, Chris Wilder taught us. Right. Yeah, there was us on the tour bus. Yeah. Look how many goals Billy scored us. It's beautiful downtown Bromley Lane. We are the boys from Shore.